These are the dumpsters. It was a mess before. Looks like, but I mean, I think they were a little disingenuous with us when they applied for their business license, saying they were a gaming video or a gaming video store where you go and play video games. But, I mean, clearly they're selling alcohol. But I don't know if they're violent.
How's it impacting the neighbor most?
Noise. Yeah, noise. Noise pollution, light pollution.
We know Patrick Anderson, that's his son James. And Leah.
That crown?
Yeah. Leah and I were pregnant at the same time with boys.
I just got a call from Councilman Rain. Don't start until we get it. He's pulling up.
That's not the rules.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt to run in here. One is at the door, checking their phone.
He's coming up, I see.
He's there.
There you go. He coming. Let us bring the city council meeting to order. We're going to stand for a moment of silence, and we're going to be led by the Pledge of Allegiance from Troop 2. Moment of silence. Amen. Troop 2 from First Press, do you mind coming forward? And you're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes. Just real quick, Troop 2, we're going to start. Going to ask you guys to introduce yourself. We're going to start by your troop.
I'm Cam Neely. I'm the Scoutmaster for Troop 2 at First Presbyterian Church.
Merson Colley. Bryson Cal.
James Anderson. Bennett Brock.
All right, thank you guys. Don't mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Scout attention, Scout salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you guys.
Did we decide who was going to do the?
You want to do that? No? Chris didn't get one.
I guess we'll do the.
Okay.
Item 3, approval of the minutes for the March 10th, 2025 City Council meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any that oppose? Ayes have it. Item 4, approval of the agenda for the March 24th, 2025 City Council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any that oppose? Ayes have it. Item 5, we have public comment. I see we have 2 public comments. The way this works, I'm going to call your name to come forward, and we want you to give your name and your address. And after that, you have 2 minutes to state your concerns or make your comments, and I'm a pretty big stickler for those 2 minutes. So Ms. Christie will be timing you, but Ms. Ella Williams, please come forward to the mic. How are you this evening?
I'm good. Thank you
Good,
so
good.
much.
Thank you.
so much. I might have to do a 2-parter.
Okay.
First of all, mayor, city council members, and city manager. First, I would like to commend the Public Safety Department on your diligence in pursuing the speeders on Camelot Drive. That is much needed over there, and that would be a lot of funding coming into the city if you just stay there for a day or so. A big thank you to Public Works for attempting to clear debris in front of our yard and sidewalk. Thank you to the Communications Department, who would not give their name, and that was very smart of them, because if you give me your name, I'm gonna remember that. There's information being shared with the community which is not accurate. Have you been out in the neighborhood to check for yourself? That was once my job. However, I personally visited the neighborhoods and reported back to Center Manager Mark Scott, and he would then contact the appropriate department, and in turn, they would go out and resolve the issues. Next, I would like to know, who is my council representative? I thought it was District 6, but since Hurricane Helene came in, then I was told I was in District 1 because of the state road. So I would like to know, or would a person step up and say, who are, okay. And I did not receive a phone call back from the representative, which, I know you don't usually return any phone calls. But I would like for that, my road to be cleaned up in front of the house. Doesn't it look kind of suspicious or kind of strange when you drive down Camelot Drive? There's this one house with all this debris out front. And then we put it on the sidewalk. Somebody comes and move it back into the yard. We put it back out. Somebody comes and move it back into the yard. Now, I don't know what's going on, but my time is up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll be
Thank
back.
you.
I'll be
Thank you.
back with
Thank
some.
you. And Ms. Wood, if you don't mind giving us your address again?
612 Camelot Drive, 29301. My phone number is 864-415-9199.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
We got it. And you did see Councilwoman Megan Smith raise her hand when you said, who's your council?
Yeah, I just choose
Okay.
not to
Okay.
say
Thank
that
you.
right now.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Hope Blackley?
Good afternoon, Hope Blackley. I own property at 568 Savannah Plains Drive in Spartanburg, the city of Spartanburg. Do you need my cell number
No,
and all
ma'am.
that? Okay. I am here, first of all, let me say thank you for allowing me to speak on the record tonight.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I am here representing the Tory Dandy Foundation, and I bring with me a check for our 4th installment of the $50,000 that we gave to the city of Spartanburg for $10,000. And I would like Ms. Kim Moultrie to come and receive this check on behalf. You all have been doing a great service to the youth and keeping up with reports that Ms. Moultrie gives to me in regards to this fund that we have set up to give money to the city of Spartanburg. And Mr. Dandy wanted me to do this on the record this time. We are a little bit late. He's been super busy. As you know, he's a super sports agent, billion-dollar agent. And so this is for last year. We normally try to get this in. So this is for 2024. You'll be receiving our last installment this year, probably around October. So here's this check, and sorry we're a little late on that. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Blackley, thank you for that. I did see Tory, unfortunately, at a funeral, and we had a chance to chat a little bit, but thank you for your service to the city, and also thank him for us as well. Service. Thank you. Item 6, nope, yes. recognition of, excuse me, city retirees. I have Miss Joyce Lipscomb, who's coming down first. Police Department Grants Manager. And I have Robert Knight after that. Joyce, yours is pretty long now.
He's done a lot.
She's fine there. I'll come her way. Joyce and I go a long way back, all the way back to the little police camp. Police camp. I'm not going to give out the year we did that, or the years we did that, because I'm going to date myself. But I do remember that police camp, our slogan was gold. Given an opportunity, we all can be leaders. That was for the kids. It was a camp we did during the summer months out at the police club. And we would have, how many kids throughout the summer?
Probably about 20.
20 or so every summer that we would work with personally. And we had different sessions that we dealt with those kids. But I do remember that slogan. It was just goal. We tell kids to set a goal, but given the opportunity, we all could be leaders. So, Joyce, thank you for all you've done for the city. But that little small personal piece for me in my life truly means a lot, that we had the chance to work together. Well, prior to joining the city team, Joyce was previously employed with the Health and Human Services Finance Commission at Greenville Technical College, Piedmont Legal Services, and Piedmont Community Action. Joyce began her career with the city of Spartanburg in July of 1993 as a housing and community development specialist. In March of 1996, she became the operation analyst in the public safety department. Joyce was responsible for reviewing public safety operations, program, and processes, along with grant writing to support the work being done in the police and fire division. Her position title was later changed to grants manager, with the appropriately reflected her contribution to our city. During her career, Joyce was an innovator in writing and securing grants not only for the city of Spartanburg, but for many other county municipalities and nonprofit organizations. Joyce's passion for helping others has always been reflected in her work. Joyce has been deeply committed to improving and increasing the resources available not only to police and fire department, but to other city departments as well, and expanded training opportunities for personnel. This all enhanced the city services delivery. Her unselfish desire to improve this community inspired her to work intensely at researching and writing grants to secure funding for both state and federal resources, as well as from recognizing foundations. It was never uncommon for Joyce to work long hours, or those days when others were enjoying weekend time with their family. Through her many successes, Joy has touched countless lives during her tenure with the city of Spartanburg Public Safety, and our city involved due to her diligence. Most City of Spartanburg departments have benefited from having Joyce on our team. Joyce, your selfish service, always eager to assist others without expecting personal gain or reward. You truly have contributed to the greater good of our community. So we thank you for your compassion, your service, your dedication to the city of Spartanburg. Joyce, this is really, really personal for me, but I truly have enjoyed knowing you. Thank you, thank you. Spartanburg, 7/12/93 to 3/31/2025. We're going to give you an opportunity to say a few words. You go as long as you would like. And I'll hold this for you.
I just want to thank the staff. I have been blessed to be a part of this organization, and I'm real emotional. But I'm thankful that I was here, and hopefully every staff member we have appreciates this organization as I have.
Thank you.
Mayor Rice. Mayor Rice.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind me saying, during the time that I served as the president of the Neighborhood Association for the South Converse neighborhood, Joyce Lipkin and Lisa Gossett are the ones who helped me get the grants and things together for all of the accomplishments that took place in the South Converse neighborhood. And I am truly grateful to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Knight, come on down. Come to the other side. Someone else about to enjoy this time away from the city, time with the family. Appreciate you. I appreciate all you've done. Mr. Robert Knight has been a valuable employee with the city for over 20 years. He has had a few roles with the City of Spartanburg Public Works Department, starting out on March 15, 2004 as the supervisor in Public Works Sewer Maintenance Division. He transferred to Public Works Street Division in December of 2007. Robert has been a valuable member to the Public Works team and been leading teammates during all the inclement weather events, with the most recent Hurricane Helene. Robert has always been ready to lend a hand with Public Works and will be greatly missed. We wish our teammate, his wife Candy, the best in their next chapter. So Candy, you get to get him every day now. Every day. He can come on back sometime too when you get a little rest. Come on back. City of Spartanburg Outstanding Service Award Special Recognition to Robert Knight for his dedication and commitment to the City of Spartanburg, 3/15/2004, 3/20/2025. Yep.
Thanks very much.
Want to say a few words? You got the floor.
Well, I appreciate council, city manager, my boss, Jay Squires. I appreciate everyone. I tried to be a good example for everyone and set a standard and live up to it. And I hate to go, but there comes a time you got to go. But I've enjoyed it. It's been a good ride.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Thank you, man. That's still the same. What's the next?
Proclamation.
Fair housing month.
Nation, yeah.
Proclamation declaring the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the city of Spartanburg.
They got here a little early, so we can be properly recognized and take a few little pictures. So we do appreciate all that's happening with fair housing here in Spartanburg. And we know housing has always been an issue. But whereas the Fair Housing Act enacted in April 11, 1968, enshrined into the federal law. The goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination in the United States. Whereas Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, family status, national origin, or disabilities, and commits recipients of federal funding to affirm further fair housing in their communities. Whereas the Spartanburg Association of Realtors, I want to make sure I said it right, Realtors Incorporated is committed to the mission and to intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all. Whereas our social fabric, the economy, health, and environment are strengthened in the diverse, inclusive communities. Whereas more than 50 years after passage of the Fair Housing Act, discrimination persists and many communities remain segregated. Whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunities are repugnant to the common sense of decency and fairness. Now, therefore, I, Jerome Rice, for the virtue and the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Spartanburg, and on behalf of my fellow city council members, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month. So thank you all as realtors and what you do in our community. Thank you. Start there first. Thank you. Thank you. Good, good. Thank you. Item 7, Hello Family Update by Ms. Watt, Institution for Children's Success Institute.
Hey, good afternoon. So we provided everyone with an annual report with the latest data for year 3. I'm happy to answer any questions around your financial investment or the data surrounding that, but really we just want to focus on the people who are receiving the services tonight. So we have 2 different programs represented, which is Birth Matters and Quality Counts. So I'll let Safari come on up and talk to you about how the impact Birth Matters has had on her life.
Hi, how is everyone?
We're good.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I am not only a Birth Matters client, I am also a doula now. So Birth Matters has impacted my life tremendously with opportunities and just giving me a voice and helping me find my voice that I'm not going to say that I didn't have, but I was just a little nervous to speak up. So they did help me develop being able to speak and just being able to find out who I am, more about my body, getting closer to my kids, counseling, chiropractor, just helping me in any area that I needed help in. I am now a college graduate. I am now a doula. I own several businesses with several certificates, and I wouldn't have done that without Birth Matters. So I just want to thank them.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that the baby back there? That's your little one?
I actually have 2 that went through the program with me. My son is 10. Well, he's 9. He's about to be 10. Okay. And I just had a baby. She's 1.
Okay, awesome.
So I've been with Birth Matters for about 11 years now. And now I'm working for them. So it's just 360 turn. It's amazing to be with them.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Up next, we have Tammy Compton, the Program Director of Quality Counts, and I'll let her introduce her crew.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mayor Rice and esteemed guests. This is Mia Gentry. She is one of our child care directors, owners that we've worked with. This actually is my grandson. I tried to get some other children to come, but Grandma can usually get at least one. On a Monday night at 5:30, it's a little hard because they've been at school all day. But I just want to reinforce it and to share with you. Mia's going to share a story. I'll let Mia first, and then I'll recap. So Mia, I'll let you talk a little bit about quality counts.
Good evening, Mayor Rice, and to this esteemed council. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, okay? I had to write it down because I got over 50 brain. And so I don't remember everything I need to say, so I just have to write it down, okay, to keep my thoughts so I won't be gibbering and jabbering. Is that all right?
That's all right.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to talk about the collaboration between Hello Family and Quality Counts and how they have impacted my facility in a positive way. So a few things that we've experienced is, number one, staff training. We have increased staff training, which we know that's important for high quality. Staff have to be trained, they have to have that education because research is always improving. We're always finding out different ways to serve children and families. And so our facility has been exposed to more of this training. We have gotten some awesome outdoor equipment. Some things that honestly I wouldn't have been able to afford on my own because, you know, budgets are tight sometimes. But we have been exposed to materials for the classrooms. We've been exposed to learning materials for our classroom, and we've also gotten like some secondary pathways, some bike pathways, so the kids can go out, they can ride the trikes, they get to ride the bikes, and they just get to enjoy and have a good time. So we are very grateful for the partnership that these organizations have come along with me and tried to help us to serve the families in our community. So thank you so much for what you do for them and how you are continuing to give them what they need to give us what we need so that we can serve the families in our community with high quality care and education. Thank you.
Thank you.
So to add to that, I'm going to give you my elevator speech. Birth to 4, most critical years. And these child development centers that we work with here in the city, it is critical that we continue to support them because these teachers are already, and these directors are doing everything that they can to make a budget work. And so do we put the cost of what true child care is on the parents? You can't do that. We have to work together. And it takes all of us to do that. I spoke to the legislators and senators, and I told them, I said, it's not just me, it's not just the directors, it's not the teachers, it takes all of us. Senate, legislators, governor, everybody, all the way down to city and county councils. We need your help. And so to continue to build these baby brains, okay, these are the most critical years, because if we invest heavily here, then our return on investment long-term is much greater. We don't have children that have to go through remedial services. We don't have children that are less likely to graduate from high school. These children, we're setting their trajectory for life. And so by empowering these teachers, directors, giving them the skills that they need to teach and to help children become whole, not just ABCs 1, 2, 3, but academically, you know, that piece of it, that will come. But what we need to do is that social emotional. If we have a whole child, when it's time for them to learn, they'll be ready to learn. What we're struggling with is that social and emotional piece, especially after COVID, that is critical. So the other piece why I couldn't get a lot of people here, the last weekend, as a matter of fact, 2 days ago, Friday and Saturday, we had over 100 child care directors, teachers at a Friday, Saturday training, okay, on conscious discipline, giving them the skills that they need to help adult first model of maintain composure to be able to talk to children. I mean, I could stand up for days and tell you all the important things, but what I want you to do is look at this little boy's face, look at her daughter's face right here. Okay, those are, get over here, Colton, get over here. This is what you're impacting. This is what you're impacting by providing those funds to help us continue to coach, and we're giving these facilities high quality, one-on-one coaching in the individual classrooms to build these baby brains and set them up for life. So I want to say thank you for what you've done and hope we can continue this partnership throughout.
Thank you, thank you. A quick comment, I know we have some from other council members. I was at a superintendent's, the Association of Superintendents conference a few weeks ago, and spoke on a panel, myself, Jeff Stevens, superintendent here, and Dr. Booker with SAMS, and we talked about, of course, speaking about Hello Family. And of course, the superintendents wanted to know how they can have their students kindergarten ready, you know, following a model like Hello Family. Also, about a week ago, I was in Washington, D.C. at a mayor's conference, the National League of Cities. And every time they heard Spartanburg, just for you all, every time they heard Spartanburg, they said, Hello Family, Hello Family. So this is a national model. We're doing some great things here in the city of Spartanburg, but I want you to know that people are watching us and they're modeling what we're doing. So keep up the good work. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's funny you say that. I was just at a conference at SECA, which is a Southern Early Childhood Association. And when I introduced myself, and they were like, now what do you do? And when I said it, they were like, oh, yeah, your city, your community believes in what you're doing. You guys are getting, I said, absolutely. Yeah. This is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, that is where it hits the road. It's local, and that's what, when we recruit facilities to be in here, we tell them, we're here in your county. Yeah. We live here, we work here, you pick up the phone, we're here. Versus a state model where it's much harder to get people there to help you. So, thank you.
Any other comments?
Thank you.
No.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, Caitlin, are you done talking? Okay. First of all, Tammy, I watched your testimony online at the committee, and I was very proud to see Spartanburg showing up. Just a little context for folks, because we've been talking about this for a long time now, but if you're new to following online or new tonight, back in 2020, the city, we used $1 million or $1.5 million. Right. Which, was it, Chris? $1.5 million of our ARPA funds to help fund this. At this time was a new pay for success model under the belief that those first 4 or 5 years are really the most critical time of a child's life. And one thing you hear all of us talk about separately is that our job is to support the people in our neighborhoods and in our communities, understanding that if we can invest big and hard in those first couple of years, like you said, Tammy, they pay off down the road in all sorts of different type of indicators. And so Hello Family helps bring together all sorts of different partners, not just the ones that are here tonight, but to rally around families. And we as a city were able to help fund that initial thing. But what I think is really exciting, and Jamie loves to talk about leveraging public dollars and helping to extend them, is the results that we've seen in these last 3 years in the city, which are really quite incredible. We've been able to expand the Hello Family model through Movement 2030, which we've had Dr. Booker come and talk about that, to the county. So what we've been able to demonstrate here in our small municipality now, families across our entire county are able to call the hotline and get connected to resources. And my colleague, Taylor Doctor, is out there in the crowd. If you'd just wave, she's the one at SAM that helps to quarterback this county work. So want to thank y'all, but also I think it's really important for us to remember, not just on the national scale, but we've been able to expand this to families countywide. And I know that other folks are looking at us to see how they can do what we do here. So thank you to all of y'all for this support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. With item 9, resolution, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a development agreement between the city of Spartanburg and Lat Purser and Associates for the project located near the intersection of Country Club Road and South Pine Street, Spartanburg, bearing the tax number 7-17-06-071.00, 7-17-06-072.00, and one last one, 7-17-10-062. Resolution, not Mr. Kohler, it's gonna be Chris Story.
I'm bailing him out on this one.
Y'all been upgraded.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members, this is another residential development, part of our broad strategic objective to build the supply of multiple types of housing as a hedge against affordability challenges across all housing price points. So we are pleased that this is the third project in Spartanburg representing collectively tens of millions of dollars, maybe even approaching $100 million of investment by Lat Purser and Associates, a high-quality real estate developer out of Charlotte, North Carolina, that did the Fitzgerald, is currently doing the Boxcar, and projects both happen to be on Union Street on the rail trail, and a third one, which is this development that is the subject of this development agreement, which is a townhome development, also located immediately adjacent to an extension of our trail network. I'll briefly show you where the site is and a couple aspects of this. This is a property that has frontage along South Pine Street and frontage along Country Club Road. The primary vehicle entrance would be along Country Club, and with a new crosswalk infrastructure to get folks over to the expanded trail network there. That's an aerial of the location there. We think of this project as doing several things, providing a new high-quality housing product. It is participating in our initiative to include additional workforce housing units, so 10% of the units in the development, while the development itself will be predominantly market rate, 10% of the units will be available for tenants at or below 80% of their area median income at rents calibrated to be affordable to those income levels. It's a $19 million investment, and we're at least 80 units. There's a possibility of increasing that number, and what's proposed for you tonight is a development agreement that specifies all that I've discussed, as well as an escalating local government revenue schedule that will strengthen the tax base for the city and the school district and other relevant entities. Certainly welcome any questions that you have. Just a few more images of the quality of work that they have done on their other projects, and we look forward to working with them on this one. Any questions, Mr. Mayor?
I don't have a question. I do have a comment. I am grateful that we have a quality builder that is bringing quality work to Spartanburg. The ones that are being built along the rail trail, I see those every time that I walk the trail, and I am so excited. I cannot believe the transformation there. You have really transformed, that area, because it was old warehouses that were there. And to see this now, I am excited about it, because knowing that he's a quality builder, that makes me feel even better. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes.
Chris, you may not have this answer. The breakdown of the workforce, the 80%, in the agreement it says workforce units shall consist generally of the same unit mix, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom, as the other units in the project. But do we have sort of a breakdown of what that means out of the 82? Is it going to be 2 units or?
I have that, but I don't have it right here. I don't know if Jack Levinson is with Lat Purser. Jack, if you'd like to comment, welcome to address that.
Thank you. So all of the units will be 3 bedroom, 2.5 baths. So there's some maybe word modification in that agreement, because there won't be 1 bedroom. They're all 100% going to be 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Okay.
Whether it's workforce or whether it's market.
Well, we might need to tweak that.
There are a couple other edits that'll come in before we execute the document.
Got it. All right, thank you.
Chris, well, first of all, I mean, they say good things come in threes, and having Latt Purser and Associates coming in with a third project in the city of Spartanburg in the last 5 years or so is tremendous. And so, Mr. Levinson, we really appreciate your continued investment in Spartanburg and hope that three's not the last. We'd love for you to continue to do quality projects like this throughout our city. I think the development agreement mentions that there are a number of parcels already in the city, but also some that will need annexed. I assume that the existing tax revenue generated from those currently in the city is a fraction of what we will receive in revenues from a completed project, even with a reduction in the
absolutely.
in the fee schedule. So, I mean, that's exciting in so many ways, but also we're annexing additional properties into the city. One of the drawings you showed some significant sidewalk improvements and additions and crosswalk that is included in the development agreement, I believe.
Yes. And there's a couple of additional factors that your question or your comment has prompted me to, I failed to mention. This project will sit at sort of the southern edge of the city limits, and so they'll work with us on a welcome to the city gateway element, make space for that in their project, and it also involves the elimination of 2 substandard billboards that are on different faces of the property. It's actually 4 sign faces, but they're coming down as part of this. So we think it's a beautification of the southeastern gateway to the city, as well as a desirable project.
You anticipated my other questions.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you again for this great project. I drove out there this weekend, and it's one of those spots that you don't pay attention to, but then when you actually look at it, you realize the potential for all this new housing. And I noticed there were several power towers on the property, and one of the pictures that you showed one of them, but will any of the other lines be buried? Because it runs kind of straight through the property. Just curious.
Those are transmission lines that were unable, I mean, they can't be put underground.
Okay.
But the development itself will be served with modern underground.
Sure, of course. Okay.
Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve as written this resolution.
I hear a second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any that oppose? Great. Ayes have it unanimously. Jack, this is great. And again, you've heard everyone talks about the quality of work that has gone into the other apartments here in the city of Spartanburg. We just want to say thank you for the commitment and the team, of course. Thank you. All right, we have item B, a resolution authorizing the city manager. So now you switched it up again. Execute a document related to the leased office space located at 295 East Main Street, Spartanburg. Mr. Kohler.
Mayor, council members, City Hall's moving again.
Yeah.
Our deputy city manager has found an exciting new spot for us to be for the next couple of years. It's an open campus out on East Main Street. It's the old Bank of America. We're in negotiations with the landowner, and we think we've got a good template for a lease, roughly $12,000 a month in costs. There's some additional maintenance costs that are in the lease, but we think we're going to be able to handle all of that work ourselves to save ourselves a little bit of money. So essentially, what is before you is a lease, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a lease for that property for a couple of years while we wait for the building to be built. Glad to answer any questions.
Bob, can you just back up a little bit for folks who maybe don't know why we need to move again? Give us the context. We're not just moving for moving's sake, but explain that for the folks so they know.
Absolutely. As you know, when the old City Hall was demolished, we had to find a new home, and we were lucky to find 187 West Broad. That is part of a new and exciting development. That piece of that parcel is an important piece of the development downtown. It's going to service the coming office spaces, the coming hotels. It's going to assist service with the baseball stadium. It's going to essentially be some more parking. So it's critical that get erected as soon as possible. So we're excited to give up our home to get that portion underway, and that's prompted us to find a new temporary location.
And to that point, Chris, when we initially moved into the existing city office building, the timeline of those elements of Project Core that affect this property were at later date to be developed. And for the good of a lot of reasons, they changed the timeline, which we're supportive of because it accelerates one of the office buildings and more specifically the hotel property. And so that is the genesis of why we moved once, thinking we were going to be there in plenty of time for the new building, but now having to move currently. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes, sir. The Project Core, which is the broader name for the public-private partnership that involves the baseball stadium, which will open this month, involved $305 million of private development. The schedule for that private development has been accelerated, which is great news for the downtown, and great news for Spartanburg, but a temporary inconvenience for us.
And as I understand it, this selection process looked at a number of different properties, and this site was chosen because of its proximity, its access, parking, impact on rehabilitating the building in some way to satisfy the city needs, and it's a below market rate lease rate, correct?
Yes, sir. It's considerably the most attractive option that gets most of city offices under one roof, and significantly better than the others we were able to identify from a cost and logistical perspective.
Do we know what offices will not be under the same roof?
Oh, just the ones that are currently at South Church Street.
Okay.
And even some of those will come.
So everybody that's in the building with you now will come with you to.
That's correct.
Street. Yes.
Bob, what's our timeline as far as hoping to be in the new space?
Mr. Limehouse is in negotiations with the landlord and all the moving logistics. I'll let him address timelining.
Yes, ma'am. We're planning for as early as June, but we're trying to extend that life of 187 as long as we can. But trying to be like our Boy Scouts and always be prepared, prepare for a little bit earlier and hope for a little bit later.
And do we have a proposed budget for any improvements that we need to make into this building and the just overall move itself and the interior and all of those elements?
Yes, sir. So with selecting this site and, going through all the details, we've been establishing a budget, but trying to balance being frugal with a building that will be a temporary house for us, but be serviceable for our citizens and operationally efficient for our employees, and making sure they're comfortable as well. And, we had a pretty large ballpark figure, again, preparing for the worst and hope for the best, and we've been paring that down slowly. And our amazing staff has been in there doing evaluations to see what kind of cost savings we can do, from using Wi-Fi versus hardwired to, where can we put this wall, what we can take out, et cetera. Yes, sir.
And those funds come from our general operating, or will they be part of the project?
The move and the upfront costs will be general fund expenses in the current year.
Bob, I noticed under the article where it discusses the rent, Article 3, Section B, it says that the additional rent shall commence on March 1st, 2025. Is that going to be edited for when we move in?
Yeah. The point of tonight is to authorize the city manager. We will fine tune this and we won't sign until appropriate, and we will adjust those dates.
Great.
And again, speaking with Mr. Limehouse and I have had conversations with the landlord, we think we can eliminate almost all of that additional rent by handling those services in-house. Maintenance, landscaping, all that, we think will be a pretty capable tenant.
It also mentioned in there, I'm sure this is kind of some boilerplate language, but about paying property taxes, but we, as I understand, can be exempt from that as a government entity.
That's correct. Once we occupy as a government entity, the property will be exempt from property taxes.
Great.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to recuse on this one, given that it's some common ownership with my company. OTO doesn't own this, but there's common ownership.
Okay.
I
Common
make a-
ownership.
I make a motion that we adopt the resolution.
I hear a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everyone has it, and Mr. Rain recused himself from the vote. All right, sounds good. And we're at item 10, staff updates.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to take a moment to thank our Public Works team and those that have been managing our capital projects for a remarkably busy winter and spring. Exciting days over the next several weeks. Fifth Third Park will open to the public well, before we meet again, as a matter of fact. There'll be at least a college baseball game. And then the official opening day is April 15th for the first minor league baseball. It's been, I mean, that's a project we're excited about the long-term impacts of, but some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that only a handful of us really get to see is the depth of collaboration and partnership and logistical work that's gone on to facilitate that very aggressive schedule. So I just wanted to thank Buddy Bush, who is in the building on a nearly daily basis, if not daily basis these days, and his team that have facilitated a high level of support for that major project at the same time the other life of the city continues and the other projects. And Jay Squires, who just slipped out. He won't believe I said something nice. But who's managed a lot of the infrastructure and logistical work, and countless contractors and others who have cooperated in a very, well, you know, at one point in time we had 3 different contractors working in the intersection of Daniel Morgan and Harris Place, and everybody got along. So that's a remarkable thing, and I'm just proud of the team, and certainly give great credit to the private sector folks who've managed the hard parts of it. So looking forward to that. In addition, our regular slate of community events and activities, some of our weekly series and whatnot will be cranking up in the next month, so we're excited about those as well. Welcome any questions you have on any topics, but just wanted to highlight those 2.
I do have a question, and I'm going to piggyback off of Ms. Ella Williams and the debris.
Yes, ma'am.
I rode through my area the other day, and I noticed on the street it's Low and Darby Road.
Okay.
And debris is still piled up real high, and I'm not certain if they ever traveled back there to remove any of that debris.
Well, thanks for letting us know about those locations. We are continuing to work in making what we hope are final passes around the city. We believe we have, according to our maps, our crews or contracted crews have touched everywhere at least once, and in some locations multiple times, as property owners have worked through, cleaning debris that was more interior to their property. But we're appreciative of the fact that the state and FEMA have extended the period that we can seek FEMA reimbursement for debris removal activities. They've done that in all the Helene affected metropolitan counties through June, through the end of June. So our work and our contracted work continues, and we do appreciate folks making us aware of locations because with this many different entities, there's certainly the potential for miscommunication and things falling through the cracks. So thank you for bringing those locations forward, and if any other locations. As you know, there's one team that is dealing with city and county owned public rights of way, and then the SCDOT, which owns a lot of the major, more arterial and collector roads, has a separate crew. So we're in constant communication with SCDOT, trying to encourage them to be aware of places that are in the city limits, but actually under their jurisdiction. So we're working through those issues, but encourage folks to make us aware of any locations in need of attention.
Well, and Chris, to Ms. Williams' point, Camelot Drive is a DOT
That's correct.
road.
Yes.
So we would, I think what can get confusing for folks is when we say we've made all of our passes twice around
Right.
the city, but we're talking only about the roads that we own and maintain.
Correct.
But those that are on a state road or a county road, it looks to them like, why hasn't the city done that? So maybe if you're noting those, the ones that she just shared about the city, you know, let's note Camelot, that
Absolutely.
DOT needs to get back out there.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
are in communication with that, and I noted that address. So.
Great.
Well, yeah, one more thing, you know that Ms. Councilwoman Littlejohn loved to talk about litter. So, I don't love to talk. Well, okay, excuse that word. But at the same time, I do see litter, just that same drive, that same Lowe's Drive and
Okay.
Darby Road. And I know that we have crews that goes around in certain areas, and I guess we just need to add
Yes, ma'am.
to the list.
Yes, ma'am. We do keep, at any given time, a full crew doing targeted litter cleanup efforts, and so we can certainly make them aware of that location as well.
Yeah, Chris, I was wondering if we could revisit our city codes and violations, because I don't think that people understand. And you see things out there all the time. The city came through on last week, and they went through picking up all of this housing stuff. And, well, I hate to pinpoint, because these are my constituents. But, you know, to remove something, and then this morning where you see people bringing stuff, you go to the curb again, that are household items. I don't think that people know the days, because it used to be that for household things, because you could not place on the curb until Thursday. But now, I just don't think that people know the days that they should put them out there, and I think that something should be put out to let people know, because it's an eyesore when you drive through a neighborhood and you see a mattress out there one day, or you see a sofa gushing and the city picks it up gushing 2 days later, where there is a dresser and a stove gushing, all of this out there. So I really think that, you know, we can revisit that, and we can kind of educate people a little bit, because I don't think people know, especially people that are moving into the area.
Yes, ma'am. And they, I'll start that right now by clarifying that any conventional non-hazardous waste that can go in your cart should go in your cart. If it's too large to go in your cart, we do that kind of, we call that bulk waste collection, or we send out a separate truck on the route the next working day behind the regular collection. The reason why we do it that way is because our sidearm loaders that pick up your carts have a little GPS-enabled module in there that allows the driver to hit a button, say XYZ 123 ABC Street needs bulk waste attention. And that goes into a database system that creates the route for the subsequent day for the bulk waste day. So that's one way we catch it. People can also put their address on that list by emailing or calling or using the app that we use for customer service. Any of those mechanisms get that address on that list.
Okay, one other question. Can you update us on Lawrence Johnson?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Lawrence Johnson.
Oh, you referring to the residential development there?
Does the city own any properties there or not?
Yes, we own some undeveloped lots on Lawrence Johnson Lane, and there are some that Regenesis Community Development Corporation is working to develop housing on, but I don't have an update on the status of their work.
Okay.
I was just gonna piggyback off of some of your comments with respect to neighborhood, picking up waste. I think I'd sent you an email last week. I did a walk and talk with a constituent in a neighborhood last week or a week or so ago, and just sort of observing. I think it's a combination sometimes. It's educating the public about what those schedules are, but you are going to find folks who just probably don't care. But we have rules in place and we need to enforce those things. And my concern is, as we continue to grow, we have services that need improvements, and sometimes aren't as consistent. And I think we need to be looking at that long term, whether that's hiring more folks or whatever that looks like, looking at other municipalities around us who have figured out the system, because it can't always be up to our community members to have to contact us. And you missed a spot, can you come back through, send us an email, call us, etc. Because that's, they pay taxes, and that is part of a service that we should be providing consistently to folks who choose to live in the city. And so I really think that's something that we need to be focused on, because as we continue to grow, if we can't keep up and maintain what we have now, where are we going to be in 5 to 10 years when all this continued development, and we can't keep up with it?
Sure, and we certainly are interested in improving systems and benchmarking with others as we can. I do think it's important for all folks to be mindful that we were not able to operate regular green waste collection for the 6 weeks after Helene. And there's no annual cycle that you can take 6 weeks out of and immediately catch up. So that's why I've been saying at this microphone since Helene that recovery efforts were going to take into 2025 in anticipation of some of this tension we now experience, that there are some locations and aspects of some of this where it's really hard for a layperson in the community to attribute the difference between what they might be seeing today and a storm that was months and months ago. But the fact that we weren't able to operate the regular services in October and November meant that there is a bulge in the snake that we're working to catch up, and we're biting it off each week. And we've deployed every resource we know anything about to do that. But there's finite heavy equipment for us to utilize, and so that's been a factor. But we will be we're getting closer by the week for the maintenance of our right-of-ways being the way that they have always been. I'd also add to that fact that some of the heaviest damaged properties that we experience throughout the city, I was talking with a friend just the other day who had heavy tree damage to his own home. He's still deep in the construction and renovation project. So Helene seems like it's months ago for those that were fortunate, like me and my family, that we did not experience. But there's still a heck of a lot of work that is happening that manifests with, there's some folks just getting around to clearing out parts of their property because they had to focus on their house first and couldn't worry about the backyard. And now they're worrying about the backyard, and that's generating more volume. So there is a run out, a tail to to the Helene impacts that we're experiencing. But absolutely welcome any inquiries along those lines, and grateful for the hard work of our team, because they have been hard at it.
One last question. Do we have I couldn't remember the date or the timeline for the downtown where the roadways are blocked off on, I think it's Daniel Morgan. Do they have a timeline on that? Is that going to be opened up by the time
Daniel Morgan and Main
baseball
intersection is closed today. Just coincidentally, the timeline is opening day of the baseball stadium.
I was wondering if it would, if there would be any traffic challenges with that.
We're gonna have it open very soon. What's going on with that work is part of a significant effort to underground the power and telecom infrastructure. So if you happen to walk the sidewalk in front of the AC Hotel today, you would have seen large conduit being buried in that intersection, and they're making great progress on that. It'll be open. If Jay were here, he'd tell you a more accurate date, but I'm pretty confident it'll be before opening day of the baseball season.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Last question for me. One thing that we haven't heard an update on from a long time now that was a part of our comprehensive plan was you talked about looking at our codes. We were going to look at our zoning ordinances as well. And I think the last I heard, we were maybe going to be issuing an RFP soon to look at what consultant group can help us through that. I mean, we passed that plan almost 4 years ago now. Yeah. Can you update us on that?
We are scoping out the services we seek outside support on, and Fredlin's working on that draft of RFP. It's not currently open. I mean, we haven't posted it yet, but we don't think it's a whole lot left to do before we'll be able to put that out. But a lot of the factors relate to scope and depth, internal resources we can put to it versus external, and trying to make sure we hit the sweet spot there.
So we'd hope by the end of this year to have selected
yes, and
someone and be
we
in
hope
the
to have a
work.
process underway before that, and that will involve, obviously, that's going to be relevant to a whole lot of stakeholders from a whole lot of perspectives. So that will be a participatory public process.
Thank you.
Any other questions? One last question from me. Are we live streaming tonight? Okay. I asked that because the last council meeting I was out of town and I tried to log in, and of course no reception. So it took me a few days to actually watch the actual council meeting.
We
didn't know what was going on.
We were so efficient by the time you logged in.
I have seen
saw the
it.
Mayor Pro Tem unplug it.
No, I have watched it since then, and Rob gave his typical, thank you all for coming. All right, that's good, good. Council updates. Which one am I starting? Rob?
I was gonna say thank you all for coming. Especially thanks to the Boy Scouts for sticking around the whole time.
Troop 2?
That's impressive. Troop 2. Troop 1 didn't stick around very long, a couple weeks ago.
Awesome. Councilwoman Smith.
Yes, thank you to the Boy Scouts. I'm sure y'all have homework or basketball or something to do after this. Just a few thanks. I wanted to thank Macedonia Baptist Church. They helped hold a FAFSA workshop, which if you don't know what the FAFSA is, you aren't old enough or are too old and don't remember. But it's the application that helps our students know if you can access federal student aid. And if you are a senior or have a senior in your household, now is the time to be doing that. So please reach out to me if you need any help with that.
High school senior.
High school seniors and anyone in college. Yeah,
okay.
Including seniors in college if they want to go on to grad school. Another exciting thing for our young people that we at the city are doing is hosting some internships this summer. We had some interns last summer, but this summer we're expanding that to 10 for our rising seniors in high school and graduated seniors from high school. So if that is something that you are interested in, you can find that information online, I believe, and reach out to Michelle. So it's a paid internship, which is great, especially for our young people who are figuring out what they want to do with their life. Speaking of all the Helene stuff, I enjoyed our walk with the mayor a few weeks ago, and we were able to see all of the debris that has been taken to our airport. And is slowly being mulched down, but it felt like mile after mile. It wasn't, but it is so much debris out there that's hard to kind of take in the scale of it all. But that's it for me. Speaking of education, I head to DC in a few days to meet with our senators and our congressmen just to talk about the continued importance of funding education. And allowing access to higher education for the folks in our city. We talk a lot about economic mobility, and a degree after high school, whatever that looks like for you, continues to be one of the most productive ways to be able to afford a life for you and for your family. So I look forward to interacting with my counterparts in DC and representing all of us up there.
I'm sure you're going to do well.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Littlejohn.
I want to congratulate the troops. They are so manable. I cannot believe that they have been so attentive in looking straight ahead as though you are really interested in what we're saying. We really do appreciate that. I drove past the ballpark on Daniel Morgan. I have driven Daniel Morgan. I am so excited about everything that is going on there. Thank you, everybody.
That's it.
Wow. That's it.
Record time. You was raw.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say to the Boy Scouts, I thank you. And now I am a lifetime member of the VFW Ladies Auxiliary. There is one thing wrong in this room, and I wanted to see if any of the Boy Scouts can tell me what's wrong. Because the first thing we did after prayer was, there you go. How is that flag supposed to be presented to the public?
Ask the adults. It looks good to me.
No, the eagle is supposed to be facing this way.
That's right.
So just remember that on your next time that you're doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good eye.
Now, I want to say congratulations to the retirees. I know it's been a marvelous time for me to not have a job other than this job, and I love this job. So if you get a chance to retire, enjoy it. Do all of the bucket lists that you got available to do it. This past Thursday, the mayor, Councilwoman Littlejohn, Councilman Fulmer, and myself attended the ribbon cutting for the Cancer Association on their new building. I have been touched by cancer 3 times, immediate family. And let me tell you, that is not the best thing in the world to happen to anyone. And I'm like Miss Lipscomb, I get very emotional about that. So, want you all to know that it is available. If you know anybody who needs some guidance, support, please stop by 139 North Dean Street. They will be more than happy to serve you and help you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for that reminder. Councilman Fulmer.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Again, congratulations to the legendary Joyce Lipscomb and Robert Knight on their retirement. We wish them all the best. Also would like to congratulate the 2025 Men's Southern Conference Basketball Champions, the Wofford Terriers. The pride of Spartanburg, I think, is one of the TV analysts called them on their great victory. It was a great victory for them, and they represent themselves very well in the NCAA championships in a tough loss to Tennessee. And then also thanks to Troop 2 for being here. Congratulations on your accomplishments. I went to an Eagle ceremony yesterday where 8 new Eagle Scouts were given their medals and their handkerchiefs. And it was quite an accomplishment. And if you boys will listen to Mr. Neely and do what he tells you to, you'll be able to achieve the rank of Eagle, and that's something that's very important. And in fact, my middle son was one of those 8 yesterday, and his Eagle project was to landscape the Cancer Association's new building. So it kind of all comes full circle in a community. And so please stick with it. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Awesome. Mayor Pro Tem.
Be very brief because March Madness is still upon us and the women are playing tonight. I thought I was gonna come through the television watching the Lady Gamecocks yesterday. But thank you, young men, for being here and paying attention, and thank you for your service and continued service to the community. Congratulations to Joyce and Robert on their well-deserved retirement, and thank you so much for their service to the city. That's all I got.
Thank you. Troop 2, thanks a lot, guys. Really do appreciate you coming tonight and appreciate all you do. Being a Boy Scout is something to really hang your hat on. I like to call people winners, and you guys are winning being a part of the Boy Scouts of America. To Joyce and Joyce Lipscomb, Robert Knight, congratulations on your retirement. The time well served, and we do appreciate the work that they've done. If you missed the last walk, Miles with the Mayor, it was a tremendous walk just to see the debris that was taken up and that is out at the airport. But even to that point, a lot of it has already been mulched up and has left the facilities. One thing I had the privilege of doing is riding down in between both sets, and you really should do that one day. It shows the magnitude. April 1st, USC Upstate against Walford baseball over at the stadium.
The defending Southern Conference baseball.
All right. We'll see what the Spartans can do, Sparty, and the Spartans can do with the Terriers on the 1st. Look forward to it, as well as the official ribbon cutting on the 3rd at Fifth Third Park. And I think that's it for me. I had one more thing. The actual walk, again, was just a tremendous effort. We did do a little bit over 3 miles, thanks to Kathy Hill and her effort. She wanted to get a couple more steps in. So thank you, Kathy. Entertain a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we move into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Kathy Hill.